I'm Rosello, and today I'll be performing an experiment about Archimedes principle. We all know that Archimedes principle states that when an object is fully or partially submerged in a fluid, it experiences an upward force, and it's called buoyance force, which is equal to weight that the fluid displays by that object. In simple terms, this means that when you put something in water, the water pushes upward, and that upward push is called buoyancy or buoyance force. For my experiment, I prepared a few simple materials. First, I have here a 190 ml plastic filled with water, and a container also filled with water. These materials will help me demonstrate how buoyant force works in real life. Let's start. So now, I place the 190 ml plastic bottle filled with water into the container. We're going to put it slowly. As you can see, the bottle sinks completely to the bottom because of the container. This happens because the weight of the bottle and the water inside it is greater than the upward force, or the buoyant force, coming from the water inside the container. The more water inside the bottle, the heavier it becomes. So the buoyant force can't push it up, and that's why it sinks. According to the Archimedes principle, the buoyant force acting on an object is equal to the weight of the fluid it displaces. But since the bottle is completely filled with water, it's already heavier, and the buoyant force is produced isn't enough to lift it up. That's why it stays submerged or sinks. Now, let's compare it with an empty bottle. When I place the empty bottle in the same container, it flows easily on the surface of the water. Why? Because the empty bottle is filled with air, which makes it lighter than the water it displaces. In this case, the buoyant force is stronger than the weight of the bottle, so it floats. This comparison clearly shows how weight and buoyant force affect whether an object will float or it sinks. Archimedes' principle doesn't just apply to the bottles and containers. It's everywhere. So this experiment proves that Archimedes' principle that the buoyant force acting on the object is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by that object. The filled 190 ml bottle sinks because its weight is greater than the buoyant force, while the empty bottle floats it because its lighter and buoyant force can't support it. Thank you and goodbye!